Welcome, Inte sir. Sajia madam, we can start now.
Okay, sir.
Inte sir is also there.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have a webinar for the youngsters, for the good entrepreneurs. And today we have with us Darshana Jain, who heads the blockchain practice at the publicly listed company InfoBeans. With over 2 decades of leadership experience in blockchain, technology, real estate, C-suite, investor, and entrepreneur roles, she is also an angel investor. After completing a master's degree in CS from the USA, Darshana worked with Fortune 500 companies in US and UK, which gave her a global perspective in business. Darshana is the first woman to be appointed to the National Executive Committee of CREDAI, Real Estate Developers Association India, and also she possesses notable experience in blockchain development service. As an expert in the emerging technologies, she carries extensive vision for the technologies and capabilities roadmap. So we welcome you all, Darshana Jain ma'am, and we look forward for this awesome webinar to be. Welcome, ma'am, from CET Bly.
Thank you so,
So
much.
shall we start, ma'am?
Really appreciating. Yeah, we can begin.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
So just give me a minute. I'm going to share my
Yeah,
screen.
yeah, fine.
Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah, thank you so much. So good afternoon to everybody, to all the students and faculty present here. I want to thank Dr. Himte and the Institute of Innovation Cell for Rumta College of Engineering and Technology to have organized this webinar. I think it's a great initiative that colleges are doing so much for their students today. I mean, we didn't have access to this kind of mentoring and sessions while we were in college, but it's really good that you're able to give this kind of an exposure to your students. So thank you for having me. What I want to do today is maybe just do a little, I think my story as an entrepreneur. And, you know, coming from India, I'm a Jain, I come from a very conservative Marwari background. I was not really raised to be an entrepreneur. So we were raised to get educated and maybe, you know, get married and run our own lives. So let me give you a little bit of my background as to how I ended up becoming an entrepreneur and what it means to me, right? So, you know, the proverbial entrepreneurial bug, तो मुझे नहीं कभी लगा था कि मैं business करूंगी, right? And I was very sure that, you know, once I did college, my father was very encouraging of us to get a good education. But post that, it was never meant for business. My father is into construction. So he has a family business back here in Pune. And I got married and went to the US. And while I was here, since I did my computer engineering and I did my BCS and then got a job, I actually worked in IBM, Zensar, some of the really good technology companies here. I went to the UK. So I always thought, right, that that's not meant for me. So when you close those doors for yourself mentally, those doors don't open no matter what, okay? So I did do a job. I was happy. It was great. I got married. I went and did my master's abroad in the US. So I did my master's in computer science in Minnesota. And I actually decided that day that I want to do something. I want a career or I want to do some sort of a business for myself. And that was at the age of probably 26 or 27. So before that, I hadn't even thought of the opportunity or the ability that I could do business or I could do something of my own, right? If I wanted to. So let me give you a little bit of my background. After I finished that, I did my master's. I worked for a company called Aventis Pharmaceuticals. And I was in the US for 10 years. And after 10 years, in 2009, I came back to India. And I came back to India to set up my tech company. When I came here, there were a lot of issues with the family, and because of that, I had to get into real estate. That was the day I decided, okay, this is it. Whether it is real estate or tech, I'm going to do business and I'm going to do it well. So I actually started my journey in real estate, which was not my education, not my background. So it was literally baptism by fire. And I went ahead and executed a project. I delivered 2.5 million square feet of residential and commercial space. I went on to becoming the first woman developer to have led a national consortium for women in real estate. And I got to meet our Prime Minister Narendra Modi on this initiative. And I really enjoyed it. I loved being an entrepreneur. While I was doing that, I was also, as an angel, investing in companies, small investments. But I wanted to understand how the startup world works and what does it take, right, to be a startup. Since I was part of a family business, I wanted to experience the journey of a startup. So I started investing into startups as an angel, and then eventually tech angel. And I had some investments in a blockchain technology company. And we were kind of worried that, that may not do well. So I got into an executive role. And as a CEO, I turned that company around from a loss-making company to a profitable company. Did very, very well. So I got back into tech really late, actually 2019 or 2018. But the journey has been amazing. And it doesn't matter whether it is tech or whether it is real estate. I think business and management principles remain same. I'm sharing a little bit of my background because what I'm about to say will make sense to you. So my background is in tech and in real estate. And as an angel investor, as a woman leader, I've done a lot of initiatives for the government. I was instrumental in implementing Maharera in Maharashtra alongside the government. So CREDAI worked tirelessly together with government to implement RERA in Maharashtra. So that's a little bit of my background. And I'm going to share my story, my mantra, my journey with you. And I hope that, that resonates some. I hope English is okay as a medium. And, if we need to maybe speak in Hindi, do let me know.
No, not an issue, ma'am, please.
Okay, thank you. So these were some of the young mistakes that I made. I think I let age define me because, when you're young, you think like, I'm too young, meri to zindagi padi hai, wo aage jaake karenge. But I think that as an entrepreneur, that is one thing we should not do, is because age has very little to do with success, right? Experience definitely has a lot to do with success, but age does not. So don't let age get in the way of your entrepreneurship. Start cultivating maturity early, whether it is through internships or apprenticeship or, understanding how functions work at the ground level, even if you're helping in the family business. I think it's very important to start early, to see what motivates people, right? When you do an internship or an apprenticeship, you're working at the ground level, you're working as foot soldiers, and it kind of helps you understand mindset of people. So I think that younger you begin, the better it is, right? I was very shy to be my own advocate. We as girls are raised to be shy. We are raised to be, demure. कि शर्माना चाहिए, तब जोर जोर से बातें नहीं करनी चाहिए, अपने बारे में इतना नहीं बोलना चाहिए. So women are groomed a little more differently than men are. I come from a metropolitan city of Pune, and yet I think that there are some things that are very innate for us Indian women. So I think that it's very important to be your own advocate, right? Marketing is a very essential skill. When we say marketing is an essential skill, it does not mean to market a product or an item or a service. It means marketing yourself. As an entrepreneur, हम कुछ thought, एक vision लेकर जाते हैं, right? वो vision हमको बेचना होता है, अपने employees को, अपने investors को, अपने customers को. People have to believe in you, right? When Ratan Tata came out with the Nano, right? When he came out with the Nano, he sold the idea of a affordable car. People were not buying the car. They were buying into the idea of saying, okay, this is going to be very big. This is something that is the need. right? When Apple came out with their phone, their first smartphone, they created a need, right? Similarly, so I think it's important for us to be able to advocate ourselves. और बहुत important होता है वो एक entrepreneur के लिए, एक in terms of marketing yourself, you should be able to articulate your thoughts well to be able to market yourself well. So I think I was a little shy in doing that in my early years. And the importance of young leadership when you're in college and when you're in school, you get a lot of opportunities to get into a leadership role from the very beginning. Let's say in school as a prefect or as the head of a debate club or the head of whatever that you may have, activities that you may have, drama club, or even a sporting activity like a football. So if you are able to actually start young, right? Now let's break it down. So what do you mean by leadership? What is the idea of leadership? एकदम basic level पे अगर बात करें तो leadership is basically the capacity to generate a following, that people can believe in you and that they can follow you, right? That's what leadership means. And great leaders, if you look at history, बहुत ऐसे लगता है कि वो unachievable है, but I think कि बहुत एकदम ground level पे जाके देखे तो we believe in what they said, right? And that's why we kind of look up to them. They're good listeners. They're willing to respond. So मुझे ये questions I think बहुत बार आते थे कि what makes them a good leader, right? And what inspires you to follow them? तो अगर वो leadership वो quality चाहिए तो कहाँ से शुरू करें, right? It just feels like an insurmountable task. But I think, students who have a growth mindset, to experience challenges and to learn, to explore, they are able to achieve higher goals, even when they start out at the same place like their friends do. So I think curiosity of building, learning, curious minds do better. So importance of young leadership ko undermine mat kariye. Do go out there, take all the opportunities that a college will offer you, step up, take ownership and execute tasks. I came from a very affluent family. So my parents knew a lot of successful businessmen, but I never really accessed that mentorship that was available to me क्योंकि मैंने कभी सोचा ही नहीं था कि मैं business करूँगी, right? So I think today women are far more, I think, they're far more clear about what they want. And if you're able to decide now, or even, young men to say that I'm not going to wait for a very long time to see whether I want to do business. Can I start cultivating today? And to do that, if I can talk to the right mentors, to the right people, get the right guidance from time to time. Maybe आज click नहीं होगी बात. Maybe 2 साल के बाद मुझे वो बात click होगी. But कहीं ना कहीं right interactions matter करते हैं. बहुत matter करते हैं. Spend time with people that will make a difference in your life. So I think that was one of my young mistakes that I made. So what should you do, right? As a young entrepreneur, अभी आप लोग college में हैं, तो क्या करना चाहिए आपने? तो मुझे लगता है कि आप आज बहुत important है कि कुछ चीजें cultivate करनी चाहिए, right? तो क्या cultivate करना चाहिए? आप पूछेंगे क्या cultivate करना चाहिए? I think सबसे बड़ी बात होती है friendships या team, right? जब हम कोई भी business idea सोचते हैं, तो कोई भी business अकेले नहीं बनता है. You need a team. You need to have a whole army behind you. और team का बहुत महत्व होता है. जब पांडव और कौरव जब बैटल करने गए थे, राइट, 5 भाइयों ने 100 की आर्मी को डिफीट किया, और रादर all the entire Kaurava army was defeated. Why? Because it was about unity. जो कौरव के सारे जनरल थे, इंक्लूडिंग भीष्म पिता, द्रोणाचार्य, कर्ण, वो सारे इंडिविजुअल बैटल्स फाइट कर रहे थे, अपने खुद के बैटल्स फाइट कर रहे थे वो. लेकिन पांडवास went as a team with a single goal, and they all participated in the decision making process, and that's what led to victory and to a synergic effect. So team building is a very important skill to succeed. We are talking about what does it mean to be a young entrepreneur, a young successful entrepreneur. So team, I think, plays a very, very important role in this. Other than team, I think time की बहुत value है कि if you're able to respect your time and all those around you, it matters. And when I say respect your time, it means कि आज अगर आप लोग let's say first year, second year, third year में कुछ कर रहे हो, right? If you let this time go by without having done anything or planned or strategized or thought through, exposed yourself to different let's say fields, then you're losing this time and it never comes back, right? So like, you know, going back to Mahabharata, if we were to look at that, when the Pandavas were exiled, when 12 साल का उनका जो exile period था, उस वक्त उनको पता था कि war होगा, right? When we go back, they are not going to let the kingdom come back easily. War होगा. और Kauravs ने जो किया था उसका revenge तो लेना ही था. So in that 12-year period, they actually kept upgrading their skills. They became fit for war. They recruited people. They got their, you know, ace archer, the magical weapons. They really built an army during that time. If they had let those 12 years go by and said कि ठीक है जब जाएंगे तब देखेंगे, it would not have given him victory. So time का बहुत value होता है किसी भी चीज में. Goal setting is important. We may think कि आज हम बहुत young है, मैं तो अभी first year में हूँ या second year में हूँ या third year में हूँ, अभी तो placement भी नहीं चालू हुआ है. I think goal setting का जो value है वो school से शुरू होता है. It's not about college or it's not about work, right? And about 90% of the people who fail to achieve their goals, it's because of multiple factors. But 90% don't achieve their goals because they're not clear. Their goals are only not clear. And the 10% who achieve them are very crystal clear about what they want. And they set goals that are achievable, that are small. They may seem irrelevant, but they are doable. They're easily achievable. So every time you achieve a small goal, a small milestone, you celebrate, you move forward, right? If you set goals and tasks that are unachievable, you will lose motivation. You will lose your steam. So goals help you get a very clear perspective. There are long-term goals, there are short-term goals, but more importantly, you should have small micro goals that are achievable. And do one step at a time towards a larger strategy, towards a larger goal. So, but all of this happens if you're passionate, if you're truly, truly passionate about something. Like, don't get into business or don't, you know, get into entrepreneurship if passion is not there. And if you truly have the desire, the burning desire in your stomach, right, to do something, then, you know, excel even despite all the impediments and industrially achieve your goals. Like, karo, agar passion hai, agar sach mein bahut wo aag hai, bhook hai, to zarur karo. You know, we talked about advocating yourself. इसके पहले वाली स्लाइड में आई सेड कि कम्युनिकेशन हम जब बात करते हैं तो तुम्हारा विजन क्लियर होता है. आई थिंक हम एक सेइंग होती है कि ये आदमी गंजे को भी कंगी बेच के आ जाएगा या किसी को भी ताजमहल बेच के आ जाएगा. ऐसा हो सकता है क्या? द फैक्ट इज हो सकता है, राइट? इफ यू हैव द राइट स्किल. नाउ हाउ यू यूज दैट स्किल is something different. But the communication skill is important towards your vision. People need to buy into you. People need to believe in you, right? And ऐसा नहीं होता है कि एक बार विजन सेट किया और पूरे टीम ने करना चाहिए. ये बार बार आपको विजन बेचना होता है. रियल एस्टेट में ना हम लोग बोलते हैं जब कोई कस्टमर घर खरीदने आता है तो वो एक बार घर नहीं खरीदता है, वो 7 बार घर, सेम घर 7 बार खरीदता है. कैसे? वो पहली बार आता है, अपनी फैमिली के साथ घर दिखता है, फिर उसको हम बताते हैं कि कितना अच्छा है, क्या क्या अच्छा है. फिर वो आके जब फाइनली चेक देता है और घर खरीदता है तो उसकी फैमिली होती है साथ में, उनको वापस हमको वो बताना होता है कि why it is good, why it's not. So we are selling the house for the second time. The third time when he brings his parents or his friends to come and see कि ये देखो मैंने यहाँ घर खरीदा है, right? So you're selling the house, that same house, to the same customer again. So communication skills and the understanding of that communication is crucial. तो वो vision, वो घर आपको बार बार बेचना होता है और वहां पे frustration नहीं चलता है. And because that's your vision, right? You're happy कि कोई वो अपने family को लेके आया आपका project दिखाने. So that's why I think communication matters so much. But out of all this, if you have all this, आपके पास ये सब है, but basic respect नहीं है लोगों के लिए, तो I think कहीं मार खा जाता है एक entrepreneur. Because सबसे छोटे से लेके सबसे बड़े को एक उनके काम के लिए अगर हम रिस्पेक्ट कर सके तो आई थिंक बहुत सक्सेस उसमें वो होता है, ब्लूम होता है. So let's talk about some mantras, right? अभी ये सब करना है हमको, right? Time management, good communication, सब तो कैसे करेंगे, right? So उसके लिए जो things that I think are important or that you will in time see is be orderly. Having order in your life, in your workplace is very important. और कई लोग जैसे क्रिएटिव लोग हैं, राइट? जो क्रिएटिव लोग होते हैं वो बिल्कुल मेस में काम करते हैं, लेकिन करते हैं. So that's a different field altogether. But let's say if it's engineering or we're talking about medical or any such field, right? There is a certain amount of order required to your workplace. And in being orderly, out of 100 people, about 20% have this skill. And if you have this skill, it's great. But if you don't have it, you should cultivate it. Make it a habit, right? Disorganized people do not make plans. They do not set goals. So if you don't make plans and you don't set goals, you cannot achieve them. You don't know where you're heading. And that's why you will fail, right? So to do that, you have to be, to set goals that we talked about in the previous slide, you have to be orderly. I think hone confidence inside you, right? And in terms of that, your confidence level basically will determine your self-esteem. Ki, I am good, I am capable of doing this. और ये जो आपका confidence होगा, वो directly आपके success या failure पे reflect होता है. People who are more confident in their work or relationships lead successful lives versus the less confident people. तो doubting में ना बहुत failure होता है. Constantly अपने आप को अगर हम doubt करेंगे तो बहुत failure होता है. So in terms of strengths and weaknesses, अपने क्या strengths और weaknesses है वो identify करना चाहिए. There's something called SWOT: strength, weaknesses, threats, opportunities. So जो SWOT होता है, every person should do their own SWOT analysis to see what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, which are the opportunities I have, and what are the threats to these opportunities. And based on that, whatever your weaknesses are, you work on those to develop those into strengths. And the strengths that are there, you think about how will you use that to convert to opportunities, right? How will you use your strengths? So strengths and weaknesses develop karna important hai. And basically strengths identify karna isliye important है क्योंकि वो confidence build करता है कि I am skilled, I know, I'm good at this, and it's okay to know that you're good at it. Because a pessimistic person often lowers productivity, creates a negative environment, uncomfortable environment. So it's important to identify your strengths for that reason. I think this should be one slide by itself. Read. Any successful entrepreneur, it doesn't matter who it is in the world, will tell you they read. Because your mind is one of the most powerful things that exist. And what you feed it speaks a lot about how you will think, how you will view everything around you. And you will come across two kinds of people in your whole lifetime. One is with a growth mindset and the other is with a fixed or a static mindset. People with fixed mindset believe that their talents or strengths are limited. They are fixed, okay? And they tend to limit their intelligence and mind from thinking out of the box. But if you read and you learn and you're curious and you're constantly fueling your mind intellectually, you're giving that stimulus, your entire persona will change. So I found a really good analogy this morning. So that if you're holding a cup of coffee when someone comes along and bumps into you and shakes your arm, right? Making you spill coffee everywhere. Now I'm asking you students, why did you spill your coffee? Can you tell me why did this person spill the coffee? I mean, please feel free to put it in the chat if you want to. Why did the person who was bumped spill the coffee? I don't know if the chat functions here. One second, I'm going to try and take a look at it. So somebody said that he spilled the coffee because he was pushed, right? He was bumped. Here is my thought. The answer is wrong. He didn't spill the coffee because he was bumped. He spilled the coffee because there was coffee in the cup. अगर कप में चाय होती तो चाय गिर जाती, अगर जूस होता तो जूस गिर जाता. So basically what it says is कि जो आपके कप में होगा ना, वो बाहर निकलेगा. वैसे ही आप अपने दिमाग में, ब्रेन में जो डालोगे ना, वही निकलेगा राइट टाइम पे. जब लाइफ टफ होती है या कुछ चैलेंज होता है, वो चैलेंज का आंसर कब आएगा? जब पहले कुछ भरा हुआ है ना अंदर. अगर कप खाली होगा तो कुछ नहीं गिरेगा, और उसमें कचरा होगा तो कचरा ही निकलेगा. So it is very important to read. You know, when Elon Musk was asked how he learned to build rockets, he simply gave a one-word answer. He said, I read. I mean, it sounds simple, but that's exactly how he became an entrepreneur. It actually begins that simply. I put this word again, mentoring, because they will impact your life the most. As a young person, you've not experienced everything. Having an experienced mentor takes you in the right direction, will probably help you with his mistakes. You may not learn from other people's success, but you will definitely learn from their mistakes. And that's why I think it's crucial to have the right mentors. I see a question in here, but we'll address this in 5 minutes. Just you know, allow me a few minutes, 5 minutes, and then we'll take some questions. So yeah, I think instead of learning from other people's success, you need to learn from other people's failures. It's great to read biographies. It's good to read non-fiction. When I say read, I don't mean like read Tinkle and read storybooks. I mean non-fiction. So take the time and read successful entrepreneurs or failed entrepreneur stories. Read biographies. They change your perspective. And being successful young, there are a lot of pitfalls because your experience is limited. So either you derive your experience from your mentors, or you're mature enough to say, okay, let me read and understand, you know, where is it that I could go wrong, but that path sometimes may or may not work. So it's good to have somebody, and different kinds. So somebody who can advise you on the business, somebody on the domain, somebody on the people. So you can have multiple entrepreneurs who are your mentors. Okay, let's look at the last slide. Just give me 1 sec. So I wrote this unburden myself from success is because, you know, for an entrepreneur who constantly hota hai, mujhe successful hona hai, I need to be big, I want to be listed, I'll be a unicorn, I'll be a sunicorn, I'll be what, you know, there are hundreds of things going on. There's so much pressure from the outside. So I think once you unburden yourself from success, set small micro goals, you're able to do it better. You're able to do it better, right? You do it with a free mind and passion. You work purely out of passion and discipline rather than the burden of being successful. Now I've written only one word finally. To be an entrepreneur, you have to persevere. you have a lot of problems that will come your way. You have people problems, money problems, product idea problems, validation issues, market problems. अभी recession चल रहा है. Anything can come. Regulatory issues. जिन्होंने crypto के startups किए और एक दिन Supreme वो ban हो गया. Crypto ban हो गया. Imagine the state of those entrepreneurs who set up those companies. So anything can happen. Yeah. So your job as an entrepreneur is to persevere, to believe in yourself, to know that this is going to happen and that you can get through the hard part. I see Saurabh Guha has a question in here. As a newly budding entrepreneur, a very challenging task is have smooth access to finance. Don't you think the government should minimize the complexity to access funds given by them? When I went to ground level for accessing fund, while going for rural business entrepreneurship, I found it very challenging. Saurabh, I think there is access to so much fund today. Government is doing immense amount of work for startups. I'm not sure as to what route or channel you have accessed, but a good thing to do is look for grants, right? Look for grants that are there in your field. If you're doing something really creative and if you're doing something really specific, there are a lot of grants available. Start with a grant, do a friends and family round, and parallelly do your government funding round. So you have to have parallel lines going. You have to have a plan A, plan B, plan C. The best thing to do is create a business that's bootstrapped, that can support itself. Because to scale something rapidly and too large with outside funding is also a responsibility. So if fiscally you're ready to do that, then try parallel channels. So while your government funding comes through, look at doing grants, a friends and family round. A friends and family round comes much faster if they truly believe in you. And if your venture is something that at the end of the day, कोई भी आपके business में पैसा तब डालेगा जब मुझे पता है कि मुझे वापस not just पैसा but कितना मिलेगा, right? Now, if I put it in a bank, I get about 6% in FD. If I put it in the market, I get about 12% year on year, right? Maybe more if I do risk investments. If I do equity or debt market, I do close to 16%. So if I'm going to put it in your business, are you giving me more than 20% return? If yes, any investor, if you're able to sell that idea and the business concept to the right investors, like even investors have their thesis, right? As an investor, I invest only a certain category. Like I do not invest in manufacturing. I don't invest, no matter how attractive it is. मुझे समझता ही नहीं है वो business. मुझे जो business समझता है मैं उसमें invest करती हूँ, right? So every investor has their thesis, and based on those thesis, people invest. Like for government also, you imagine the number of startups they are seeing nationally. So if it is something truly innovative and something that you think that you can make a difference, then try using platforms. Look at platforms like Mumbai Angel Investors or Lex Venture. These are also platforms that support seed stage funding. And they have very specific investment thesis for funding. So there are a lot of options. So I'm not sure in terms of government loan, why you want to go just with the government loan, but there are a lot of options in terms of funding that you can explore. I hope that answers your question. I would like to open it up to Q&A. I've kept my presentation really simple because, success as a young entrepreneur depends on really how committed, how passionate, and how disciplined you are early on in life. And that will determine your level of success. And there are multiple investors and multiple entrepreneurs who are willing to handhold today. You look at TIE, right? The Indus Angels, they are a global organization. They are mentoring. There are hundreds of incubators available today, domain specific or even, seed fund specific. So there are a lot of options out there, students, and feel free to explore all of those. Industry associations are a great place to go to. So if there is an agricultural product that you're building, then you may want to approach the industry association for it. So I hope that answers your question, Saurabh. Key challenges for an entrepreneur to become a unicorn. That's a very good question. So I think for me, the very interesting thing, I don't have a unicorn, so I'm not the right person to answer this question. But I think that to start a company with a mindset to say कि मैं unicorn बनूंगी, I think you have to reverse engineer your steps. What does it take to be a unicorn? How many users? Are you a B2B? Are you a B2C? Agar B2B hai, to that kind of market presence has to be there. If you're a B2C, I think the challenge merely remains scaling and market. These are the two largest challenges to becoming a unicorn. Is one to be able to create that market, and one is to market to that market. These, according to me, are the two really key factors to becoming a unicorn. Yeah, but that's why, you know, when I started, I said you start small, you know, keep micro goals, and eventually you will get there. Nobody became a unicorn overnight. And these kind of opportunities are once in a lifetime. Like crypto, the whole, let's say the SaaS model or the crypto model, really took off in the last decade. So, and that's why you see so many unicorns. These are all mostly SaaS companies. Yeah, I'm sorry. Dr. Himte, you were saying something?
No, there's a last question also. One more by Anurag Sharma. What are the different kinds of pressurized situations when an entrepreneur has to be strong?
There are multiple. One of them could be the day you can't pay salaries, right? If you're running low on cash flows. But I think one of the biggest situations is cash flow. If you cannot manage your cash flows, it's a big challenge. There are multiple other situations. I think the earliest thing to do is validate your product. So market validation, if you really spend time, you're passionate about it, you product, you think it's going to change the world. And when you actually go for market validation and nobody wants it, I think that it's a hard thing to deal with, to actually go and sell to a market that doesn't want your product. So whenever you do think of a product or a service, make sure that the market wants it badly. That's the only way to be successful. But like, for example, in medical devices or in the medical field, the gestation period is very long. It's very, very long. It could be 10 years before the market even sees the product. So for those 10 years to keep yourself motivated is a challenge. And that's why passion plays an important role.
Right. At the end, I think so. One more question is there. Shushan Mishra. For a small and two-tier cities, how an entrepreneur could grow and major challenges for him. He's talking about the city challenges based on the, yeah.
So a 2-tier, 3-tier city today, no, with the way internet has, or the way digitization has changed the globe, there are no barriers. It doesn't matter what city you're from. It just does not matter anymore. It depends on the product that you're selling. But the channels that are available to you through internet, those barriers are broken long time back. Unless you say you are going to, you know, make a food product there and send it to other cities. But overall, as a business, if you're looking at selling services and product, you need to use your digital channels wisely, right? And what is the major challenge? The challenge is to remove it from your head that I'm from a two-tier city, or tier 2 city, or a tier 3 city. It doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. Because I don't know if you guys watch Shark Tank, right? There are people who are coming and pitching in Hindi. Language में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. Product अच्छा है, अगर आपका passion है, and you know investors believe that you are going to do a good job, your business is through. It doesn't matter where you're from. You look at, you know, you look at the Six Sigma case study of Mumbai. They're not, I mean, it's a service-oriented business, but the Dabbawalas of Bombay, that case study is being studied in Harvard for Six Sigma, which means they deliver dabbas without error. One single error, and not one dabba has the name marked, and yet hundreds of dabbas get delivered to the offices every single day. So it does not matter which city you're from. But the challenge in tier 2 cities could be, how can I, let's say, build my confidence? How can I access digital channels? Let's say accessing vendors. अगर digital marketing करना है, आप vendor company ढूंढ रहे हैं, tier 2 में नहीं available है, तो look at a tier 1 city. These vendors are all accessible online now. So I don't see any challenge that a tier 1 city would have that, would not have that you would not have. So it doesn't matter which city you're from.
Yeah, true. That's really true, because it is all about the confidence of the entrepreneur.
Yeah, bilkul. It does not matter today.
Participants, if you have any other questions, you can put it in the chat box or Q&A session. Yeah, one more question.
One more question is there. Yeah. What kind of business model a student must adopt for his startup in a small city? Again, a city one.
So I wanna say this to all of you. It does not matter who you are, where you come from, which city you are in. Business principles don't change. Your business model should be sound, right? Your business model should benefit. Your business should benefit. See, always, अगर आप consumer के लिए value create कर रहे हो ना, तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है कि आप कौन से city में बैठ के product बना रहे हो या service बना रहे हो. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. अगर आप मुझे value deliver कर सकते हो, तो आपका product बिकेगा. Business model क्या करना है? तो business model fiscally sound करो कि अगर मैं इतना पैसा डाल रहा हूँ तो उसमें से कितना पैसा निकाल रहा हूँ. Can I run my house? Can I run my family? Can I return my investors' money? What is my 5-year plan? What is my 2-year plan? एक साल में अगर मुझे 1 लाख का माल बेचना है तो मुझे कितने कस्टमर लगेंगे? Fiscally, your business model has to be sound. It does not matter which city you are in. Absolutely does not matter. आज तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं. Maybe before COVID इतना digital penetration नहीं था, लेकिन आज remote से remote cities में digital penetration है. So you are able to access market, you're able to access funds, you're able to access all kinds of mentorship, leadership, incubators, सब online है. बिल्कुल फर्क नहीं पड़ता आप कौन सी city में. Business model sound होना चाहिए. So I hope that, that's clear. All right. I hope we were able to answer the questions. I know it's time. I had 45 minutes.
Yeah, Sajay madam, I think so. Participants, no more question.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving this awesome webinar. And we thank you from the entire Rungta family. And we look forward for these webinars from your side in future also.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your session. It was really beneficial for the students because the way the questions were asked, that seems that they are thinking about entrepreneurship and startup area.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I think it's amazing the kind of exposure that colleges are giving their children. It's really commendable.
Yeah, thanks a lot.